Before we get started, let's talk about the different technologies that we're going to use in this course. We're going to be building things with a framework called Ionic. Now, a framework is a way of organizing your programming that's going to add some different pre-built functionality to your application as long as you follow certain structure and conventions. So frameworks make it easier to develop applications as long as you do things a certain way. Now, Ionic is an SDK framework for building native applications. In other words, it will output applications that will run as if they were specifically written for different mobile devices. Now, the thing that makes Ionic different is that it lets you use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build these applications. However, Ionic does this in a very special way. So it uses not just one, but many frameworks to make this possible. So it is in essence a framework built with several other frameworks and libraries. So let's take a look at some of these frameworks and libraries that Ionic uses. Now first, Ionic uses AngularJS to let you control and create interactions within your applications. So in order to create applications with Ionic, you need to have a good grasp of AngularJS. It also uses Cordova. Cordova will package the web code and compile it into native applications for a number of different mobile platforms. Now, Cordova can also give you access to native functionality, like the accelerometer or camera, through a series of JavaScript APIs. Ionic also uses Sass to create its styles. Sass is a CSS preprocessor that gives you a lot of capabilities on top of CSS. Now, you don't have to know how to use Sass to use Ionic, but if you want to customize the look and feel of your applications, you probably want to have some experience with Sass. Now, like many other projects, Ionic uses Gulp.js in order to manage projects, processing Sass, and handle other tasks. Now, you don't really need to know how to work with Gulp.js in order to use Ionic, but it would be better if you do so that you can understand how Ionic monitors your projects. Now, Ionic uses a number of other utility libraries to operate, including things like Node.js for handling installation, Git for version control, and Bower for installing some of its components. So it's a good idea to know a little bit about these in order to feel comfortable with how Ionic works. Now let's take a look at how Ionic works as magic. The beauty of Ionic is that it provides a set of pre-built components that you can use to build functionality that would be tough for you to do yourself. So for example, Ionic provides a number of pre-built CSS classes that you can use to make your application look and behave like a native device. Now, Ionic also creates a number of custom directives through AngularJS that can add mobile functionality to your application. So for example, if you need to build a mobile list, you can use Ionic tags like IonList. Now that's going to take care of scrolling functionality and let you easily do things like allow you to sort the items. Now, as you probably know, IonList isn't a standard HTML tag. That's where AngularJS comes in. Angular lets you create something called custom directives, which act as your own HTML tags or attributes. You can assign controllers or JavaScript through Angular that adds functionality to your Ionic applications. So Ionic is different than most frameworks because it's an SDK that depends on a lot of other frameworks. Although you can work with Ionic without having experience in all of them, you definitely need to know AngularJS. And to really master Ionic, you'll need to understand how some of these technologies help Ionic create mobile applications.